Lands. I'll let everyone introduce themselves around the table if they'd like. Starting, all right, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. I'm City Manager David Kelly.
Thank you, Joe Paula, City Council Member.
Kevin Thompson, Assistant City Manager. Chris Parker, Lieutenant of the Cloverdale Police Department.
And on our screen as panelists, we have Melanie Hall from the Senior Center, Jody Kane from Alexander Valley Healthcare, and I think Debbie Howell as well from them, Blake Manning from St. Vincent de Paul. And that's it. Can't hear us, Jody? Yes, no.
No, I'm from I'm from Alexander Valley Healthcare as well.
Gotcha, Blake. You heard me then.
Perfect. And Joe, we can let in Nina.
And I think Jody, Blake, or Debbie, who wants to talk for Alexander Valley Healthcare?
Debbie needs to be a panelist as well.
Yes, please.
Yes, Debbie should be in.
If she's coming in right now. So whichever one of you three wants to give us an update on homelessness and your activities over the past couple of months, we had to skip a meeting.
Jody, do you want to give any report update? I haven't checked my email for your response.
Sure, Debbie. Yeah, sorry, we didn't touch base. So the update that I have is we've been working with Reach for Home, been working with Catholic Charities, making some progress with the emergency housing vouchers, which is great. It's been a process and a good learning curve with the county. Still acquired some vouchers, got some for our patients, which is great. Housing is still an issue, affordable housing. So I haven't been able to really kind of get past that hurdle, but working on it, just partnering with my local community resources, trying to problem solve, the housing piece. So, but it's been good. Yep. Got some patients with some vouchers, so that's a start.
Thank you, Jody. Debbie or Blake, either of you want to contribute?
Like, do you have any updates?
One of the I actually got off the phone about a half an hour ago with Ford Street. And unfortunately, they accept public insurance, but the insurance has to be located for Mendocino County. So unfortunately for our Sonoma County residents, that's not really, they're not eligible. But I was WRS and Athena House. I'm trying to come up with a working relationship with them for some of our women who are homeless, who are seeking treatment, if and when they are seeking treatment. But other than that, I don't really have too much to update right now.
You, Blake. So we're also in the throes of completing our 2021 data and utilization for our patients for our federal grant, and that will give us our current housing numbers for, our patients that are homeless, identified as homeless. So I'll have a new update for you for the next meeting in March, I believe. Yeah, because our report's due on the 15th. And that's my update.
Thank you. No Reach for Home, no Wallace House. So I guess we'll just move on without them. If they come into the meeting later, we'll have them back in. So we'll move on to update from Lieutenant Parker, if you don't mind.
Sure. So we had major improvements, a few calls for service since the last meeting. So patrol activities are 29 homeless related calls for service, and then 97 positive patrols and contacts. We did suspend the early morning patrol with Teresa due to the Omicron, which we'll go back and do. We'll start doing here Friday. We'll start doing that again. And then we haven't seen Bonnie. We don't know what happened to her. If she got services or what, but maybe somebody knows what happened to her. the last time we received a call for her was December 1, and we haven't seen her since. The chief suspects that she's been housed somewhere, so we still don't know where. That's all I got.
Great, thank you. Moving on way too fast. Debbie, can you give us an update on your project that you have going on at Times Square, since it will actually help out our homeless population and with your medical facility? Give us a rundown of what's going on, where you're at in that project.
Todd, you're kind of muffled.
I'm looking for an update on Times Square and your project going on, so you can we can have it on the record for this.
Our progress, our progress on Times Square is moving rather quickly right now. We have about 6 weeks before we actually close escrow. We're just waiting on a title survey. I think the city has sent in all their required documents. The Planning Commission approved our project plan, conditions of approval, and development agreement. It's going to go before the council on a date that our architect's available. So we're kind of trying to figure out what that date is now. I don't know if David or Kevin have an update on that. As far as any services for the homeless, again, it will hopefully be, the plans are to have arrangements, contracts, MOU, something like that with the county for social services, health and human services in our location, and Reach for Home, same thing, having an agreement with them to help people sign up for coordinated entry, et cetera, et cetera. We'll continue to provide the healthcare for homeless and substance abuse services, and our case management is what our role will be.
Debbie, we're planning on February 23rd for the city council.
That's our projected date. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm hearing that we can't hear, so I'll pass the microphone around and hopefully that'll help. If you can hear, let me know, Leanne. What I'm going to ask is for City Manager Kelly to give us an update on any type of homelessness services, or anything he can talk about this coming up on future agendas.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, and members of the Community Advisory Group for Homelessness. I just want to provide a brief update on the continuum of care. The Continuum of Care Board is the county governing body that oversees policy and makes funding decisions based on the HUD regulations and their Continuum of Care program. There is currently a change in the leadership structure for the Continuum of Care that's in process. Most specifically, the board of the Continuum of Care did agree to change the structure of the board to more accurately reflect the region. The region. Often in the past, the Continuum of Care Board was tended to be Santa Rosa focused, and the goal was really to have a regional perspective on the Continuum of Care Board to ensure that there was equity in HUD's funding throughout the county. And as a result, the board has been kind of redesignated with there has been and there will continue to be assigned seats for the city of Santa Rosa, as well as the city of Petaluma as our two entitlement cities, which are cities that have populations greater than 50,000. In order to ensure that the smaller cities also have a say at the in the funding decisions and then on the policy development for homelessness, there is 4 regional seats, and they're broken up at really just north, central, west, and east. We're part of Cloverdale is part of the north regional seat, along with the city of Healdsburg and the town of Windsor, and then the unincorporated immediate surrounding area, unincorporated area. Our city council is going to consider an appointment to the Continuum of Care Board for that north regional seat. The recommendation by staff was to appoint Stephen Sotomayor. He's a staff member for the city of Healdsburg, who's basically the housing director. He currently serves in that seat and has a lot of experience in working with the homeless community. He's leading up the strategic planning committee, which we see is really valuable because that's an opportunity for us as we work on our strategic plan to integrate with and relate to their strategic, the countywide strategic plan. And he's very cognizant of our efforts, and I think he would represent us well. Ultimately, the three bodies, meaning the Windsor Town Council, Healdsburg City Council, and Cloverdale City Council, all have to agree on one appointment. Mr. Sotomayor was the person that was kind of put forth because of the tremendous time that's required participating on that board. They have 4-hour meetings once a month, in addition to other subcommittees and committees. And so it's quite a time commitment. So it tends to work well for a city staff member to participate, but it doesn't have to be in this case. But this individual, Mr. Sotomayor, does have quite a bit of experience. So that will be on the council agenda on tomorrow for a formal recommendation to support Mr. Sotomayor in that role. I think he will represent us well. And he has participated in these meetings, and we can invite him back as he engages in the board processes about strategic plan and some of the other initiatives, because I think those will be valuable for us to understand, especially on the funding side, whether there's opportunities for additional funding for us in our efforts. So here, that's all I have to report. Just want to share an update on that.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Great, we'll move on to the next item, which is the update on point in time count. Thank you, Kevin.
Sure. This is real brief, just to announce that the point in time count will occur on February 25th from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. They had to move the date from January due to COVID. Anyone wanting to participate should contact Reach for Home, who's organizing the North County's point in time count. So it's February 25th.
Okay, since we ran through this agenda pretty quick with no one here, I'd like to see if there's any hands raised for anyone. I see Leanne just raised her hand. Hi, Leanne.
Oh, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, I'm just, I have signed up for the point in time count, not through Reach for Home, through the county, and got the notification that it's going to be delayed. But the delay is due to, in my perception, to the lack of volunteers. So I'm not sure what that's about, but I look forward to being there and to work with Reach for Home.
Appreciate that, Leanne. Thank you. I see Debbie. Go ahead. I see your hand, please.
This is for Todd or David or anyone on the council. Are we working towards any plans for emergency shelter in Cloverdale or overnight staying? Is there anything in the works on that?
You mean like a navigation center type of emergency shelter for homeless only, or do you mean for in case of emergencies through our Resilient Cloverdale and Clover Ready?
In overnight shelter for homeless in Cloverdale, not a navigation center. I don't think that's up for it, but an overnight shelter.
Debbie, in response to your question, staff has not dedicated energy to specifically development of an overnight shelter in Cloverdale. We were contacted by this staff at the Sonoma County Community Development Commission about, we experienced some very cold evenings about opportunities for temporary shelter if possible in one of our local hotels. I did reach out to see if our hotelers were interested in that. Again, limited stays with management being provided by the county, and I was unable to receive any support for that idea, but I did make the attempt to reach out and see if our hotels would be interested in providing, again, limited shelter during those very cold evenings. But I was unsuccessful in garnering their support for that. That would be an area where we could in advance work with our hotel industry if this group sees that as something we want to pursue to try to secure maybe certain number of rooms for limited lodging opportunities during it could be during either very cold events or in the summer very, very warm events. And the county does have a set rate for compensating hotels for that expense. So that kind of tends to be negotiated in advance of an event and have that be a place so that they can accommodate that. Again, it's at their choosing, so it's not obligated or mandated anyway by the city, but it is a way to address temporary impacts for the unsheltered population.
So is this the short-term planning? I'm kind of wondering about a comment that Gus had made a while back where the state is mandating every city to have a place identified to house for emergency shelter, or is that not actually come to fruition as far as requirements for the city?
No, Debbie, as I understand it, it's not every town is
Okay.
mandated, it's you have to have access to. And so that way you can, move people, they have to have access. And as of this point, I think Hillsburg is the closest.
Okay,
And that can be counted towards ours at this point.
perfect. Thank you.
Nina, you're next.
Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to say that my office, opens up to downtown, the corner of the West America Bank, and then right next to the old West America Bank. And then it's also adjacent to the bus stop. And I had two people come today and tell me that they did not want to take the bus because it was an encampment site. And I just wanted to know if it's possible to contact Sonoma County, the transportation people, and have things posted that say, unless you're riding the bus, you can't hang out here. Is that, I thought I saw that on some printed material that I read recently, but I can't remember where I read it. Does anybody know about that?
I don't know about any signs, but we do kick them out of the,
I know, but they come back.
or the bus stop, and that's kind of one of my pet peeves. But,
Well, and there's a phone charging station and.
yeah, they use that. So.
So I
yeah,
did.
so we do go out there and do it and remove them from them. They have the right to sit there and wait for the bus, but we know most of the time they're just sitting there just for shelter, just hanging out kind of thing. So that when they go across the street from the bank, they'll hang out there. And so it's a little cat and mouse game, but.
So Lieutenant Parker and I are in the process of notifying businesses and setting up one-on-one meetings with them so that they can let us know about their concerns or questions or whatever. And I think that might be a way for them to, rather than call me at the chamber, but to know that it's okay to contact the city, contact the police department if they have issues, because we have issues.
Yeah, and along with that is what can the city do?
Right.
From Public Works, from police, and City Hall to help the businesses succeed.
Sure.
And whatever they have, new questions they have. We'll have people there from City Hall, Public Works, myself, and Nina to answer those questions when we go to these businesses so that we can serve them better. So that's kind of our goal.
Gotcha.
And just to follow up on Lieutenant Parker's comments, I think it's important that we continue to ensure that our public facilities, including our bus stops, are maintained properly. And we can, as staff, we'll follow up with Sonoma County Transit and Transit Manager just to echo the need to ensure that those are kept clean and safe, and that there has been concerns about homeless activity. Obviously, we'll do our part with respect to policing, but we'll also ask, because I kind of see that some of our bus shelters are getting a little degraded. And whether it would be beneficial to disconnect the charging station to not enable folks just sitting there for long periods of time that aren't intending to use the bus. They're not intended to be charging stations. They're intended to be shelters.
The one that goes where the
I think that would be great. Thank you.
Nina, Nina, I just want to maybe make a suggestion, something to think about is maybe do one, or maybe invite the businesses to more like a town hall to talk about what problems, so you have multiple people there, we could hear all the different problems and address it with the team. And, there's a trespass enforcement authorization letter they can sign. They may not be aware of it. There's different things. We can have somebody from the transportation site there to talk a little bit about the bus stops, to talk about. So it's really important to kind of get people on the same page with what we can legally do and what we can't, and what they can do, and how we can work together to abate some of the problems. So, it's going to be real time consuming if we try to do it one-on-one with all the different businesses, but it'd be nice, kind of like we do with the state of the city, where you bring everybody together and just talk about what's going on.
Joe, we have done that a couple of times in the past, and it probably is timely to have multiple businesses be involved. Thanks.
We do have Angela has a hand up. Todd.
All right, I see Angela with the hand, please. Hello, Angela.
How are you?
Oh, wonderful. What you got?
You mentioned earlier about maybe contracting with local hotels. So if any damage happens to those hotels from the homeless, who pays for that is one of my questions. Maybe Lieutenant Parker can answer some questions. Sorry if it sounds a little rhetorical, but the loitering in the parks, loitering downtown, drinking in public, is there any type of city ordinance regarding that? I mean, I know that there's been issues at Ferber Park with urinating and feces in the dugout, parents being very intimidated to bring their kids there, even their own selves. A lot of hanging out on the corner there across from the bus stop area, down the way a little bit, drinking in public down there, those kind of things. Is there any type of city ordinance or enforcement for that?
And so I can answer the very general way. There are laws against that. Most of them are misdemeanors or infractions. So they're usually not accepted into the jails, so they would only be cited out and left there. And I know that the police department is very active with that. They earlier commented about how many contacts they've made. Maybe Lieutenant Parker can talk about how many citations they've issued over the past 2 months as well. But that's exactly what we're talking about, is finding ways to stop that behavior. Any idea on how many you've issued in the past couple of months? No. So Angela, this is where your Prop 47 really comes in, because there's definitely loitering, drinking in public. I mean, I could name them all off by code because we know them, but it doesn't do much good. We just continue to play whack-a-mole. Now, as for the dugout, I heard about that as well. I'm pretty sure Lieutenant Parker is on board. I know that I spoke to another officer that was dealing with that person, and I'm sure that that is going to be handled in a very timely manner. Does that help or answer your question, Angela?
Yeah, and also there was an email chain between David and myself and a city worker regarding protecting the shed out there at Ferber. Has there been any progress on that, David, from the vandalism and what have you? So that, we raised a lot of money privately in the community to purchase items for the baseball teams, and our concern is putting anything in there and it getting stolen or what have you. And I know you said you were working on that and with Hector, and I'm hoping that maybe there's an update to that.
Thank you, Angela, for bringing that issue forward. And we are I am working with Hector. He was obtaining a cost estimate for, a metal roll down door. We're determining whether it's going to be a combination, for the entire front entrance or just one of the doors and using other materials. But we were, our processes for procurement, we get the quotes and we'll proceed accordingly. I did provide direction that we want to come up with a more permanent and safe, secure solution for the snack shack at Ferber Plaza.
Oh, okay. I appreciate it. I was,
Just one more comment on that. I was talking to Hector yesterday. I was walking through the park and they're changing out all the glass with plexiglass. Well, when they won't be able to break the windows anymore. So they're in the process of doing that. And that they have several installed already.
oh, okay. Thank you for that update, both of you.
Thank you, Angela. Not seeing any more hands, we'll move on to the last topic, which is an update on vegetation removal at the river. At this point, Supervisor Gore has given us the green light to spend money and do vegetation removal almost all the way to McRae Road, if not the entire way. Looking at what we spent on the budget last year, I think we'll be able to make it all the way to McRae Road. I am in contact with county parks, with probation for the SAP crews that come out and help, with Supervisor Gore's office, and with our own public works crew who helps out. So it's rolling, and I'm hoping within the next month we'll be starting where we left off on the river park and finishing all the way through to make it clean and safe for fire. Any questions on that? All right, this is going to be a great meeting. Anything from anyone here at the table? Yeah. Seeing none, any hands? Last chance for hands.
Angela, but it's remained up since she spoke last.
Do you
Angela,
have anything new?
No, I don't know what's wrong with my phone. It randomly raises its hand. I'm sorry.
You do it too much. It's natural.
See this.
Okay, with that, I don't know when our next meeting is scheduled.
The next meeting would be scheduled the second Tuesday.
probably March 8th,
March 8th, yeah, because it's 20 days.
and it's 1:30.
Yeah, our next meeting will be on March 8th at 1:30, and agenda will go out the week before. So thank you, everyone, and I look forward to see you then.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's